So you're almost 40, yes. And you've never been married? No. And you don't have kids? No. And you don't want to have kids? No. What have you done with your life? Well...
Happy people don't post proof of happiness content. The performance says everything the words are trying to hide. The wall doesn't care about your filter.
So what I'm telling women is, do not, if you want a family, if you want a husband, do not allow yourself to get to a point where you hit that wall. You are 37, you are looking in the mirror, whatever age that is, and you see a different face and you see your youth going away from you and you start to panic and you can't find yourself in the mirror. Don't let that be the case while you're still on the hunt for a man, or you are going to feel inadequate, depressed, anxious, and rush in to do something toxic to your body to compensate for that. If women just listened more to what people like me are saying, and in your 20s, instead of burying in the career stuff and burying in everything else, you acknowledged the reality that what you have is going to go away. The fertility, the youthful beauty.
Treated men like disposable options in her prime, now shocked the market return the favor. The mythical 25-year-old making $500,000 was never coming. That was always a fantasy built on entitlement. The "where have all the good men gone" crowd ran them off themselves.
Have you ever thought about the fact that, like, we're going to have to create systems and things that we have never seen before? Like, if so many of us as women are planning on not having children and growing old with our friends and living in this sort of communal way that's very much not what I grew up with the whole, like, and you were born from parents and then you have kids and then their kids have kids and then eventually you're the grandpa and you're sitting there with your family and there's, like, young people built in. We're going to have to build ways of living and ways of existing and ways of connecting with younger generations and older generations that we have not seen before because we've been in such a repressive patriarchy. And we have been forced to live in nuclear families, or at least nuclear families with maybe an extra generation somewhere. But in order to create what so many of us are talking about right now, we are going to have to build systems that were not passed down to us. And I find that extremely fascinating and also super intimidating. So if anyone is already, like, talking about how we're going to do this tangibly, please point me in their direction because I want to know more.
Why test the water when the pool is visibly contaminated? Opting out isn't pessimism. It's basic risk management.
So let me pick up where I left off. Fellas, you keep saying, I'd rather stay single. Women are too much. I don't need the headache. I get it, but let's be real. That is crap. You don't actually want to die alone with a freaking gaming console and a fridge full of frozen pizza. You don't, because guess what? Biology doesn't lie. Men and women were designed for each other. That is masculine and feminine polarity. That's not just some TikTok buzzword. That is nature. That's why when you're with the right woman, everything in your life sharpens. Your drive, your purpose, your discipline, everything. Now, sure, being single is easy. No drama, no compromise, no responsibility. But easy gets old. The hookups get boring. The soulless sex gets depressing. The silence in your house starts getting loud. And then what? You're 40, 50, 60 years old. Nobody by your side. Nobody in your bed. Nobody to build with. That is not freedom. That's failure. Here's the truth. Men need women and women need men. That's a beautiful balance. That's order. That's how we're wired. The problem, though, is too many men give up before they figure us out. They throw their hands up like it's too complicated instead of leaning in and cracking the damn code. When you do crack the code, life gets great. You get respect. You get loyalty. You get passion. You get peace in your home and fire in your bedroom. That's not a bad deal if you ask me. That's a jackpot. So stop lying to yourself that staying single forever is the move. It's not. Master your woman. Don't run from her, because the man who figures out his woman is the man who truly wins at life.
Men are expected to decode a communication system deliberately designed to be unsolvable, then get blamed when they fail the test. The simpler solution: wait until the other party figures out basic clarity. Don't hold your breath.
I made the extremely tough decision to leave my husband last year after being with him for 21 years. We were married for 8 years. And my ex-husband is not a bad guy. wonderful father. But there were some things that would send people into orbit when I would tell them things. Like, number one, and I'm not exaggerating, my ex-husband did not tell me that he loved me. That sends people into outer space when I tell them that. That was something that I accepted, we'll call it accepted, but now I see it as settling. I had accepted this about him, but what ended up happening is years and years and years of what I will consider emotional neglect, unintentionally. I began to resent him, and there's a few videos that I want to make of things that I've learned, especially with us coming up on 1 year divorced, and what I learned about divorcing the good guy and what a villain that makes you, how hard it is on your kids. I just want this to reach someone going through the same thing or thinking about divorcing the good guy. And if you have questions, if you have concerns that you have for yourself or your kids, drop it in the comments. I'd love for somebody to ask me something because I feel like my story can help somebody. We're going to start here.
The reaction to men simply walking away exposes exactly how much of the dynamic depended on male compliance. Remove the compliance, watch the entire structure collapse.
Continued to be persuaded into selecting women who are signaling for short-term dating. And the reason that I say that is men, and this is proven across time, across cultures, they have discernment around short-term dating and mating versus long-term dating and mating. And the reason that that's important is women now, with the cultural changes, with feminism, with the influence of empowerment via promiscuity, they're all signaling for short-term mating strategies. And so men are attracted to these women. They'll sleep with these women. They certainly will come, but they don't stay. And so women say that they want long-term partners, and the expectation of men is to be everything that a long-term mate would be, but they're not signaling the right things for men to commit to, nor would they want to. And so now it's making men the enemy for not wanting to commit to women who are not up to the standards that men have when it comes to choosing a woman to commit to long term. And so the confusion and the frustration for men is that there are not many viable mates as far as options when it comes to somebody that they could actually settle down with, commit to, and build a family with. And so the frustration for men is valid. They're not confused, they're wise. And women can either continue to attack men and say that they shouldn't have standards, or they're insecure, or they're controlling, or they're whatever they want to label them, to deflect any level of accountability or awareness around maybe their behavior or the way that they present themselves or how they carry themselves or their history with access and sexuality is not at all what men actually want nor look for when it comes to a woman to settle down with.
The biggest shift happening in 2026 may not be about winning or losing. It may be about people finally understanding that successful relationships require mutual responsibility.
Master Your Woman is fantasy peddled to men who haven't accepted that equal partnerships don't have masters. Being single isn't failure. It's choosing peace over the very real risk of financial and emotional destruction.
I was a selfish bitch in my marriage. I've been divorced now almost 4 years, but I was married to my ex-husband 16 years and with him 18 years. And again, I was a selfish bitch. Nothing was ever good enough. I took him for granted. He seriously rolled out the red carpet for me. He was sweet, kind, generous. He told me how much he loved me 5 times a day. He told me how beautiful I was every day. If he'd wake me up in the morning, because he knows I love massages, wake me up rubbing my shoulders. He'd rub my feet every evening while we were watching TV. If I said, for example, oh, I'm craving a Dr. Pepper, he'd be like, okay, let me go to the corner store and get it. He adored me. He was amazing. Like, on paper, it's what every girl wants, seriously. And yeah, I took it for granted. And now I lost that, right? And I carried a lot of guilt because I caused it. That's my biggest regret in life, is not saving, the whole family aspect. The grass is not always greener on the other side, ladies. It's not, I'm good now. I feel great. And he's super happy with his girlfriend. And honestly, I could not be happier for him, because he deserved to be loved and cared about and respected as he should have always been. So I'm so happy that he's happy. Anyways, what I'm saying, ladies, the grass is not greener on the other side. If you have a good guy, take care of him. Take care of him. Trust me, there's nothing good out in these streets. He seriously set the bar. He set the bar. And ultimately, what I always wanted, I had all along. So we have good right in front of us, and we don't know how to take care of it.
It's both our faults, is the ceiling of accountability for many, one thin step above crying through an apology for getting caught. That's not growth. That's damage control with tears added for effect.
You know you've leveled up and you healed when you gather the courage to end it with a good guy. And let me elaborate. قد في منا بيكونوا بعلاقة مع حدا شخص كتير منيح، شخص عن جد كتير منيح، بيعقد. But deep down we know إنه هالشخص منه مناسبنا. But we stick around because he is that good guy, that great guy. Right? Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about someone you're in love with, like someone you deeply, deeply love, but you just know you deserve so much more. He's a great guy, but there's an intellectual gap between you two. He's a great guy, but you've never felt more lonely having a conversation with him. He's a good guy, but you don't have the same interests. He's someone you're madly in love with, but you have to sometimes make yourself a little bit smaller for him to be able to grasp you. He is a good guy, but he lacks ambition in the categories you care about. In my opinion, ending it with the good guy is a big, big form of self-love, and it really reflects your self-worth and what you think of yourself, and that you are fully leveling up and ready to level up. I really think that maturing is realizing that it's so much better to feel lonely by yourself than lonely with someone else, someone siphoning your energy and your time.
The basement gamer stereotype is lazy deflection. Most men opting out are building, working, and quietly thriving, just without the accompanying drama and hostility. The silence isn't emptiness, it's relief.
Why is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? Because the women are evolving so much and the men are falling behind. Forget about a good man, even a normal decent guy is rare nowadays. I don't know about other countries, but in China, especially in the big cities, more and more women are choosing to stay single, not getting married, not having kids. I live in Shenzhen, half of my girlfriends are single by choice. They're very focused on improving themselves financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, all about having a great life. They're funny, kind, energetic, you just love being around them. But when you look at the men around us, at this age, if they are already balding or sticking out a beer belly, it's a win. And not to even mention the moment they start talking. It makes you wonder if this is 1949. And also, as someone who's being intentionally single, I have found so much joy and fulfillment in other aspects of my life. My family, friendships, content creation, career, traveling, time with my dog. Love comes in many forms. I don't believe there's something you must get through a specific man. So a few days ago, I was in Tokyo for the Oasis concert, and after that, me and my friends, we traveled to Mount Fuji, cycling around the lake. So looking at the beautiful scenery, I was thinking to myself how lucky I am to experience this with my friends. Life is great, but I never came across my mind, oh my god, I wish there was a man by my side. Like, it doesn't seem that necessary. So my approach towards dating and romantic relationship is very realistic nowadays. Unless being with a man adds significant value to my life, I think it's better for women to stay single.
No violence, no aggression, no campaign, just men quietly exiting. And it's apparently devastating. The softest possible power move is dismantling the whole arrangement simply by withdrawing participation.
When I tell you that I have zero interest in dating ever again, I mean that. Like, there is not a single thought in the back of my mind that thinks, oh, maybe one day or what if. Like, I've dated enough men on the spectrum of good guy to doesn't give a shit to know that they have nothing I want or need. And it's at the point where I can't even imagine myself on a date with a man because the thought of asking him how his day was makes me cringe. Like, number one, I don't care. And number two, if you tell me it was bad, I'm going to assume you deserved it. Like, that's where my head's at. And I know people think I'm projecting when I talk about how happy I am to be single and free, but as long as there are women and girls who are forced into marriages or who feel like they can't leave for financial reasons, or their own safety. I feel like being single as a woman is the ultimate privilege. I just don't know what a man could provide me at this point. Like, companionship, like I have my dog and my friends. Intimacy, like are they even good at that? If you've never been in a long-term relationship before, you might not realize how fast that shit fades. Who's gonna take care of you when you're older? I am so focused on eating healthy, rarely drinking, lifting weights that hopefully I can take care of myself for as long as possible. But Beyond that, I invest in my friendships where we look out for each other. And how many men do you know who are excellent caregivers, especially to older women? I actually have so few problems now that I don't date. Like, I'm way less anxious. I spend less on therapy. My pH is balanced. The thing is, being with a man will always include some sort of compromise. And if that's what you want, power to you. For me, I never want to compromise again. And I don't have to when I'm on my own.
Men want peace, clarity, and basic respect for their autonomy. No interrogations, no manufactured drama, no having to justify every decision to someone who was an elected judge. That's not a high bar. It's a bare minimum one.
No one talks enough about how hard it is to let go of the guy who you love and who loves you. And there's so many beautiful blessings in the relationship, and yet you just know deep down that they are not your forever person. And you go through it hoping that that feeling goes away and that the love takes over and that everything works out, because you've never been treated this way. And it's so much of what you've prayed for. And yet it teaches you about self-trust, and that choosing yourself, no matter what the outcome, is always going to be in your favor, because it's not fair for you or the other person to silence that voice inside.
Sincerity and genuine commitment are not complicated concepts, but they've apparently become rare enough to be remarkable. Men aren't asking for perfection, just authenticity. That shouldn't be this hard to find.
I've given up on men. I'm resigning 2025 over and out. Men are just a constant disappointment. The more time goes on and the more experiences I have, I genuinely feel like I will be happier on my own. And do you know what it is? I just feel like for me to be with someone, they've got to just bring something extra, no drama.
Add up every dollar spent on women no longer in your life. Convert it to work hours, then count how many times she picked up the tab. The math is brutal and the pattern is consistent. Men funded lifestyle upgrades for someone who was already living beyond her means and still somehow always broke. Thanks for watching MGTOW Voice. Show us your love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Support us and help spread awareness for men around the world. We welcome a healthy debate and discussion, so feel free to comment and share your thoughts.